Okay. You wanted me to wait to see if we can get Scott, or should I go ahead and call us to order?
Just sent him a reminder, so he might as well just go ahead and start. If he
Okay.
joins, he does.
All right,
If not, he misses out.
that'll be his loss. All right, I call to order the first meeting of the 2026 year Park Board. Roll call. We have a new member, Austin Burton present, Michael Rapp, Linda Yoder, and
Linda Powell?
Linda Powell, I'm sorry, Mike Yoder.
What did he say, Linda what?
Linda Yoder.
Oh, Linda Yoder, there are Linda Yoder.
That didn't sound right, so it's coming out. Eric Funkhauser attending via Zoom, and hopefully we'll have Scott joining us via Zoom.
Me?
Rosemary McDaniel. Okay, so first thing on the agenda is the approval of the December Park Board report. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the December Park Board report.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we don't have any visitors this evening. First thing up on the budget, did everybody see Jill's email about the year-end report? And did you have any questions, updates, concerns?
No, I mean, there were a few of them that didn't hit target very well, but those can be changed. I mean, they're working on those, right? Wasn't there an appropriation on some of that?
You have enough money in everywhere, so I think they're just gonna shift some money around.
Shifting around for
There's
us.
enough money there to pay all the bills without an additional appropriation, was my understanding.
Yeah, that's what she said in the email, was that they would be able to transfer those funds without any issues, so. So no questions or?
Oh, cleaning supplies, that's over, but I don't know. We probably bought lots more cleaning supplies because of being sure that Hermance had
Mhm.
everything that it really needed, so.
One of the other things I had noted from, was it December? We had one of our budget items that had gone over by quite a bit. From our November meeting, we discussed it. It was our sanitation costs,
What?
our sanitation costs.
Oh.
But I believe they said that that was just the increased cost in porta potties, Mike, so
That's my understanding.
okay.
Yeah, because actually, I think, Eric, when we moved from Cripe to this new, are we still with Cripe, or did we ship to another provider for our porta potty?
No, we're still at Cripes.
Okay. So we got better service. I think the cost was lower than before, but did we have to increase the frequency this year? Is that the reason our costs went up? Over budget?
I'm not entirely sure. We just recently got a bill from them and they billed us from, I believe it was October to December. And realistically, those porta potties should not be being used or, and nor should they even being serviced. So
Oh,
I gotta call them and I gotta verify with them that if somebody's actually in fact been out there or it's just an auto-generated bill.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
Are the doors all locked, Eric?
I'm trying to recall if I had sent the guys out to do that. I wanna say that when I was at Cotton Park, I wanna say that was locked the last time that I was there, but I did not verify that. I'll look into that tomorrow.
Okay,
Is that something we regularly do, is lock those over the winter? Would make
Yes.
sense, okay. Yeah, and so if they're getting locked, then, yeah, hopefully they're not sending people out to clean them and billing us for it. So, yeah,
Well, I
if
know that last year we had an issue, where They tried to bill us and I told them, I said, well, it's physically impossible for you guys to service anything because they are locked. So I believe that when I talked to the sales representative or somebody, that dealt with their billing, they said that was not a generated bill. I said, okay, well, they were able to take the charges away, so that may be the same case this year.
Yeah,
Okay, so will you look into that and give us an update next
Yeah.
month? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and they're pretty easy to work with, I mean,
Yeah,
they
price
didn't write
billing.
about much.
they billed us for October through December.
Eric will look into that and
Mhm.
see if he can get that waived and then update us next month.
Yep.
Yep, I've been getting that with some things too, like our recycling. They just auto bill whether they pick it up or not. You just kind of have to call and complain and they take it off,
Correct.
so. All right, thank you. Are there any other questions or concerns on the budget? Linda, are you good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think, Mike, in that, will that include how we're going to be doing down at the museum too? Is that cost included in there? In that particular category?
You mean the changes we're making with the trash containers? Um, well, that hasn't been implemented yet,
Okay.
so I think the way we're going to be able to do that, I'm not sure what the impact, I guess, will be on the budget. I don't think it's going to be much.
So what's this about? I didn't catch it all.
Well, we're going to, instead of having so many trash units there, we're going to reduce the number by at least one and share it with the museum. And,
Down in Cummins Park.
right, or else we're just gonna take over the one that they've got there, something, I don't, Eric's working on that too. Or Joe
Yeah,
is.
so.
Yeah.
And I did try to get a hold of somebody, but nobody got back with me. I left them a voicemail. That once we kind of got in the new year that, we would be taking over that trash container. That would be billed for it. And I just kind of let them know.
And
that
so
it would be
we,
the museum's responsibility.
okay, did we have one there already or not? It's all been the park, or the, yeah, the park, not the park, the museums?
Yes,
Okay.
they have a recycling bin and they also have a trash.
That's right, so we're
I
taking
don't
that
know
over.
what- Yeah, I don't think that, we're not taking the responsibility for the recycling, we are taking responsibility just for trash.
Yeah, and I think there's a possibility that recycling one will be gone as well because they just don't use it. I mean, there's
Right.
not much recycling going on there, so that'll be removed. So that'll free up some
And
space.
when we say trash container, we're talking about like a
Dumpster,
hopper, right? A
dumpster,
dumpster,
yeah.
not trash cans.
Yeah,
Correct, yeah.
the current dumpster that's there, it says Californication on it, I think.
Californication, yes, it does.
Yeah, so that dumpster, that's gonna be the same one that gets used.
Mhm.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Linda?
Mhm.
All right. Anything else for on the appropriation report? Okay. All right, then moving on to our parks. Congdon Park, Eric, we've just got the update on the tree planting. Mike has the image that you sent to me earlier up on the screen. These are the proposed locations that Eric is proposing that we replant for those trees removed. Eric, did you see my email about just the suggestion that this one gets moved slightly to the right?
Yes,
Okay.
because I believe that there is a tree that is relatively close to it.
Oh, there's an existing tree here already?
Yep. No,
Okay,
oh, you're talking, okay, yeah, so it'd be more to, if
He's,
there's only one there.
there to there.
I think you can see my cursor, Eric.
Yep.
So you're saying, Michael, that move this tree to right here about.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
and that's just my suggestion. I don't know if other
Yeah.
people would like that or think that that's.
So Eric,
Well,
is this
there's
a,
tree already there.
what's that?
I believe there's already a tree there,
Okay,
so we could move that further to the south if possible. I mean, we could bring it closer right by where your cursor's at,
mm-hmm,
probably left to that cursor. We could move that to that location.
somewhere in here.
with these being planted there and is this image from before we removed trees or after? Do we
This is,
know?
I wanna say it's before.
Yeah, I think these are spring of 25.
So are some of these trees removed, I guess is what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Already
Some of
gone.
them are,
Okay.
especially over by the, where the lift station's at, to the north there.
In here. Some of
Yeah, a
those.
lot of the trees are gone.
And there's looks like 5 trees proposed here. Did we just take out 5 in the most recent? Tree
We
removal?
take that up. 1, 2. I wanna say 4 for sure.
Okay,
How
just so
many-
long as we're planting at least 1 for each one removed.
Yes.
But yeah, do you guys feel like that'll provide adequate shade for picnickers and not be too close to the play equipment? Because that's our concern, right, is we don't want them over the play equipment as much, so limbs, when they do come
Right.
down, are gonna land on children playing. But close enough
So
that
if you-
parents can sit in the shade and watch their kids.
Right. I also feel like by the parking lot there, between the walking path and parking lot, and that just seems kind of empty there, and I thought it'd be nice to have something in between that. Kind of like a nice little gateway to walk into the park.
Yeah. Well, that looks like a good location to me. Does anyone else have input or thoughts on that?
No, I know in that space where you're talking about, Eric, those 2 trees, I know that Homecoming does put tents up there, but they can put them around it.
Okay, yeah, cause even during homecoming, now as far as north of the walking path, that's still some open space there, correct? If I recall,
You're talking about right in here?
yeah,
I found this cool marker, so now I
No, Mike found a new toy. It can be used a lot.
Yeah, that is empty, but it was full during the Corn Dog Festival with parking and, vendor parking.
I was gonna say, isn't that where the vendors typically
Yeah.
park for homecoming?
I think same's for homecoming as well.
Mhm.
And I'm assuming they use the parking lot first and then that area we're
Yeah,
talking about will spill over.
bleeds over into here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any kind of a map from homecoming about like where they put things that we could consult when looking at?
They submit one usually when they give us their rental application or agreement or whatever. So Jill would have a copy.
Is there any way we could look at that for like next
Yeah.
park board meeting to kind of
Uh,
overlay it? I mean, obviously not for this upcoming year, like a previous years, just to give us an idea of where they put things.
Yeah, we should be able to do that. Yeah.
Well, if we put trees there, they won't put tents there. They'll just have to put them around them. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And they'll have to move it on out towards the meadow out there.
right, and this is just kind of a preliminary thing, just kind of
Right.
an idea of where these could go. It is subject to change, obviously, I mean, if we go out there and we physically, have boots on the ground and start to really look at this. We can look and see like, oh, maybe this tree that's over by the parking lot, maybe that doesn't need to be so close together, maybe they can be on the corners. Something along those lines, but it's all gonna make sense in order for, vendors or any kind of like rides that need to come to the park. We don't wanna obstruct any of that stuff. So I mean, even that one I have on the southwest corner there by the parking lot, that could actually move further south. Which I don't think that would be a bother.
Do you have any ideas of what kinds of trees we're thinking of planting?
I was thinking more along the lines of something like a very well shaded tree like a maple. Yeah, they do produce quite a few leaves, but I feel that I think that's the ones that are in the playground equipment, I think those are locusts. They're just kind of like string bean kind of trees that they don't provide really any kind of shade.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get something more of a canopy, so I think that a maple would provide that better.
And that, yeah, I don't know a lot about trees, but I think we kind of want something that's a good combination of fast growing so that we can get the shade quicker, but also one that's not so fast growing that it's gonna be one that loses its limbs, needs to be
Right.
removed. I know there's lots of different kinds of maples, the silver maples that we have a lot on our street. I know those kind of have a specific lifespan, and when they get to a certain age, they kind of need to be removed. So I don't know if we want to take that into consideration. What, I believe you were working with a local tree farm, is that correct?
Yeah,
What was the name of that one again?
well, it was Turkey Creek that I was talking to about this. They just kind of gave me some just very vague information. They said, you know, it depends on, the location, if it's near like walking past parking lots, the rooting system,
Right,
you know, or how fast they wanna grow, or if they want like a tree that's gonna grow relatively short, so, it was just kind of like a very brief conversation, I'll say that.
okay. I know I was emailing today and I don't remember if it was with Mike and Jill about the Tree City. Well, yeah, you were involved on the Tree City USA email, I believe. But that could be a good resource for us. And then I was also looking at IDNR, Department of Forestry, which I think is who sent that email originally. That could be a good resource as well for recommending things that are going to be native. And also, like you said, we need to watch out for like what the root structure is going to be, because I know part of the reason we removed a lot of the trees on the west side of the park was because the root structure was causing some problems. So that's something we need to take into consideration too.
Correct.
And then Mike, do you know if we asked the woman who gave us some suggestions, that's an arborist, if she would be
Yeah, she did
interested
give
in
us,
consulting?
she did provide us some suggestions. I think those were more for street trees, but we could go back and ask her about park as well.
Okay.
And
When you say
Yeah.
street,
She did provide us some, I think she had 3 or 4 different breeds of tree,
Mhm.
that she suggested, because she was the one that pointed out that some of those limbs were looking a little dangerous.
Mhm.
And then she put those out there, so I have to look back on that email and see
Yeah,
what
that-
she.
Those recommendations would have been for this park. That's correct. Yeah,
when you say
Yeah.
street trees, Mike, are you talking about just things that are a little smaller? Or, okay,
typically along streets.
right, okay. Okay, well, in my opinion, that seems like a good start to the conversation for those locations. If for the next meeting, you could try to provide us some tree varieties that we want to propose, and then also timing of when you think we would be able to get these put in. And again, I think that's something we probably want to talk to an arborist about. But maybe Eric, maybe that's something that you have the knowledge, the foreknowledge of. I don't know a lot about when is a good time to transplant trees, so I would say that we should consult an expert.
Right, I mean, realistically, we did miss the window, fall would have been the ideal time to do that,
Mhm.
but I mean. I mean, it's the ideal time, it doesn't mean that it's possible to plant a tree in the spring. We can still accomplish that, I feel.
Yeah.
It's a lot of watering, you know, we're just gonna have to stay up on that. That's the biggest, most important thing with them is consistent watering.
Yeah, and that is, I don't know if you remember, but I would suggest getting some of those Gator bags as the brand name, but there's lots of different probably manufacturers, but it's just a large bag that you fill with water and it slow drips. So that you can go out every few days and refill.
Well, if not, I mean, I believe that we have some kind of water source there in the park. Even if we had to
That
come up with something.
that would be perfect. It'd be preferable, sure, if we could do an irrigation timer drip irrigation on those for sure.
Right.
Okay. I believe for now, that's all I really needed to discuss regarding the trees. Linda or Austin, do you guys have any thoughts or questions
No,
or additions to that? Okay. All right, moving on then. I just wanted to circle back around to the memorial proposal that I brought up at the last meeting. Um, Eric, were you able to drop off I believe you said you had a catalog from
Yeah, I was able to dig out the most recent one, which was a 2020. And I meant to drop that off today, but I got distracted with other things. And it provides price, you know, which is nice, but you gotta take that with a grain of salt, when these are 2020 price.
right.
I'm sure that things have substantially went up.
Sure. Do you know off the top of your head what the name of the company was?
Matthews.
Matthews.
Monuments.
Okay,
What's the name?
Matthews Monuments. So what I would propose is that I could contact Matthews Monuments and just get some initial guesstimate pricing on that.
Yeah,
What I wanted to ask the board about, and you, Mike, was if there are any thoughts or suggestions about how we contact the community if we decide to go forward with this to see who has interest. And also how we would possibly contact any possible donors for donations to cover some of the costs for it. Is there, should we put together a formal proposal that we have in writing that we can show to people or businesses? And if so, what kind of information would be pertinent?
There's a couple ways we can reach out. The town's Facebook page, of course, and then we have, for the businesses, we have an email list that we can send requests for support to, if you want to approach that way. The town's newsletter would be another opportunity.
And do you know when the next, like the deadline for getting info for that next one would be?
The next one is, have you received it yet in the mail? It should be arriving
No.
soon.
We didn't get it yet.
Okay, so the next one is soon, so the current one will be arriving soon, so I think we do this 4 times a year.
That's what I was gonna ask, quarterly? Yeah.
So March would be So the
This is winter
deadline is-
issue.
what's that?
This says winter 2026.
So we have
Is
Oh,
this
is
the
that
one
the
that's
one
going
today?
out?
that says winter 2026. Oh, that's the one that's out right now, I think. Yes, that's the one we just sent.
This
When
is
did you
one
get
that-
that?
Huh?
When did you get that?
In the
When
lobby?
Rosemary picked it up out in the lobby.
I was gonna say we have them in the lobby if we wanted to grab one, but you already got that.
Yeah, okay, so there'll be a spring one.
Okay, so we got about 3
March,
months. Okay. Okay, so community outreach, you said town Facebook page, newsletter, and then for business, you said you've got a
Yeah,
business
we have an
contact
email.
list.
List of most of the businesses.
And I don't have a lot of experience asking for donations from businesses. Are there specific kinds of things you think we should have?
Scott
in a
was very
proposal?
good at that.
That's what I was hoping to kind of ask Scott to spearhead that, because that
Uh,
seems like his specialty.
Yeah, well, I think if you've been kind of watching, it was a rough year for donations for all not-for-profits for 2025.
Yeah.
Maybe 2026 will be better. It needs to really be something that captures their attention and sparks. Frankly, I think this is gonna be a little tough to
Sure.
raise money for,
Sure.
I think.
Yep.
Well,
So-
and I think too that right now, that park is not gonna be in the best of shape with
That was
what we're
one
going
of the
to be
last things I wanted
doing,
to
and I-
cover was the
to be
timeline on
able
that.
to say where we would wanna put things and stuff like that.
You could raise, if you wanted to go forward with this would be a good year to raise the money with a 2027 construction.
Yeah,
'Cause by then, should be done.
And that's what I was gonna ask.
And we
Do you think all the
know-
construction in that park would be done by the end of this year?
In the park, yes. Around it, maybe not. The meeting today, this sounded like this whole big NDOT project's gonna drag into next year.
2027.
Yeah.
But you're saying that stuff is gonna be outside of the park, so it shouldn't really affect.
Right, so all the
where we have a-
water-related stuff should be done maybe by summer.
By
But
the-
just doing any other construction work in that area until
Because,
that's out of
yeah,
there.
because we'll have to get irrigation back
Yep.
in there working. And,
And having an idea of what you want to do with this and where you want to put it would be good to know, I
Right.
guess. And
Yeah, and that's what I thought, if I could contact Matthews to get an idea of the size or type of monument we could get made, once I get some pricing, then I thought I could come back and give you guys a proposal on kind of location.
you just did, what size are you thinking, or don't you know yet even?
It would really depend on kind of what the pricing looks like. I mean, one of my first thoughts is having something you know, like a poured concrete thing with plaques on multiple sides. It'd be really nice,
Yeah.
but that's gonna
We
be a lot
just
more
priced
expensive.
our, Eric, tell them about how much it's gonna cost us to replace our niche, cover.
But I was gonna say, I figured that idea would be kind of cost prohibitive,
It's
so,
about $800, $900
yeah.
just for that.
Well, just to
Crap.
bring everybody up to speed, we did a little incident at the cemetery that where the niche tower granite plates had actually fallen away, shattered, and I had to contact the manufacturer. Just for that one slab, I think it's a 3 foot by 3 foot, was $486 just for this granite slab. It doesn't have any engravings on it, it's just really a
Mhm.
cover.
Mhm.
And well, then we got a $300 shipping charge along with that.
Right,
But also kind of going back to you, Michael, about, can I get a pricing from Matthews? I briefly looked through that catalog. And I would say that the plaques that I had seen, and these are just kind of your general plaque, that are probably maybe a 10 by 10. And, they're in the ballpark around $300.
How
okay,
much?
thank you.
300.
300.
Well, I would say that you don't really need to, I guess you can give guesstimates in there, but I'm gonna contact the
Yeah, yeah.
vendor and give you
Yeah.
guys much more accurate numbers next month.
I'm just doing what we did here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Um, But, yeah, I said my initial idea would be something concrete with plaques on either side, but another idea is to just have them make something similar to the existing sign on a post that's out there. It would just be two-sided. But again, I'll talk to Matthews Monuments, and get a better idea of what those different styles would cost. And does anybody have any thoughts on, I don't imagine we do yet, but would anybody have thoughts on location for this yet? To me, it depends on what style of monument we went with, would affect kind of its location. So I think talking about where we put it before what we want to get might be getting the cart ahead of the horse.
Well, we've got those 2 new trees that we planted that would be north of the little gazebo.
Mhm. Mike, would it be?
Are you talking about that park bench there? Kind of
Yeah.
sort of?
Yeah. I don't know if that would be a good spot. I don't want to move the trees.
I'll go out and take some photos, for our next meeting, so we can kind of look at, so we can see what's out there. I was gonna ask Mike if you could bring up a picture of the park, but it's just gonna be an overhead, and
Yeah,
I think it'd be better to have some photos of the, like, kind of from the entrance of the park, so. I will get some photographs of that park and have that ready for next meeting along with,
So which park are
Hopefully.
you doing?
we're talking about Memorial Park.
Okay.
okay.
They might have some ideas of what,
Yeah.
would be good.
The other thing we talked about is some sort of a policy on what names go on.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is it, because I mean, is it like an endless list of everybody who lived in Bristol that's passed away, or is it some
Right.
significant individuals, something like that? That'll help you figure out size.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Is there any way to, like, I don't know if there's county records to find out just how many people from Bristol passed per year or over the last however many years?
What an interesting question. You know, during COVID, I just asked a simple question of how many people have died in Elkhart County, like previous years and during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It took me months to get that data because it had to come from the state.
Yeah,
So I don't know. We can tell you how many.
Most record we can find is probably in my file cabinet with all the people that have interred.
Yeah, we could find. We know how many people are buried. Well, we know how many people are buried at
Yeah.
Oak Ridge.
I mean, I've thought about trying to get an estimate of
Yeah.
that number, and I mean, just like looking at our population and compare it to mortality rates, annual mortality rates in Indiana might be a way to give us an estimate. But then if we go to include people outside of the town, but people still consider themselves,
Bristolites.
I was just gonna ask, are we Bristolites? Are we Bristolians? What's the proper term for people from the town of Bristol? Bristolites? Is that right, Linda?
Bristol nuts.
Bristol nuts.
I think Kathy probably could tell us, I think it's Bristol Lights.
Bristolites, that's what Austin just
It's an
said.
actual
Is
thing,
that-
Bristolites?
Think,
I don't know.
So, but anyway, that's kind of a side.
I thought you were just all pirates.
know.
Right.
I saved
Uh,
the pirates once. I don't think I can do it
Is
again.
that right? Okay.
But yeah, I think moving forward, I think we would like to come up with an idea of how many people possibly would be interested in having a name included. And that's, if anybody has any ideas of how we might be able to get that estimate, please share it. Especially in the email that I sent after the last meeting, you can just share it in that thread. And if I come up with any estimates, I'll try to let people know.
mm,
But I think it would be a little bit of just kind of putting it out there, and see what kind of response we get. So in the
I
wording of
think it's gonna
when
be
and how we
hard to
put it out there.
determine whether, who gets to be put on there, or,
You,
I mean, that's
We're-
not gonna be an easy thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like it to be anybody that's within a certain radius. And like I said, it went going back 5 years just so it doesn't go back indefinitely. But I'd also like to make it flexible. So if we do say it's within this radius and there's somebody that lives half a mile outside of that.
I had enough problem with just keeping Bristol. But what did they call them? Anyway, they were trying to get rid of the Bristol, whatever they were called. We saved that. We had things for people to sign, what and do it. We had meetings, because people got really
As soon
upset.
as school wanted to change to a mascot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
People
We're
got
talking
really
about changing the
upset.
School mascot.
So
Gotcha.
I made
hmm,
an appointment with the principal for 8 o'clock on a Monday morning, because that's what you do to people. You go 8 o'clock on a Monday morning.
That gets their attention. Oh,
That
you,
got his attention.
thank you for your work on that.
I'm gonna talk about this next, but, we've gotten really good responses from our polls on our town's Facebook page. And, we could create a poll on this, and I think Scott's just joining us now.
Oh.
Or will be.
Hi, sorry,
No problem. Thanks for joining us, Scott.
Scott,
We're just currently talking about the Memorial Park proposal that I brought up during our last meeting.
okay,
So if you wanted to get, if you could create, what are the questions you want answered from the community? So on the farm market proposal, Jill's got over 400 responses already. So that's pretty good.
well, that's,
That's an excellent
So
response.
what did they want to do?
400 in favor and 3 are opposed. I don't know why, Jeff Juleret's one that is opposed.
Oh,
So we didn't allow for comments. We just,
oh,
I think it's just, are you in favor or not? And 400 said yes. That's pretty substantial response.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
so
So
what
Mike-
were they in favor of?
A farmer's market.
Farmers
Bristol.
market, okay.
But
And
if you
that's-
wanted to do that for this project, the memorial project, we could do that as well, see what the interest is.
Okay, so do you want me to work on questions and get that?
Yeah, 1 or 2 questions, yeah. And we can do that.
Okay, all right, I'll.
We did
do
have
that as
one
well.
a few years, many years ago, in the parking lot of the Catholic Church. That's where we did it. It was pretty interesting.
Oh, the farm market, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about a memorial again.
No, it's not.
Because that was one of the other questions I had was, for past memorials that we have done in Memorial Park, like what was the process for that? Were they all just individual donors?
I mean, for one for Tommy Thompson,
aren't there, that one,
That's-
and aren't there a
that's
couple
it.
other ones?
No. it was all just Tommy Thompson. And the Methodist Church paid for that rock and the plaque and everything.
We've got some,
And
one down,
Tommy Thompson was like 101 years old. He was a school teacher,
Mhm.
snapped his finger.
well, we've still got the one down by, the park by the river. That was,
Well, that's Hermance,
yeah, I'm just asking, we've got that one.
about Hermance, yeah, well, they stole that one, so we
Had to get another one.
So we had to, well, we had them carve it in instead of using a
They actually, what they
plaque.
did was took off the stuff,
brass plaque,
the plaque is
what
what they
they
took.
sold. So,
So we'd want to make sure if we had brass, we put it on there in a way that it can't be taken off.
I guess, that,
Or if we go with some cheap material and just have a sign out there that says, don't bother stealing it. It's aluminum.
That's funny.
Okay, well, that's. about
but we
all I
have
wanted to say.
several park benches
Mhm.
and some trees that have been donated, and as memorials to people. And we got our signs or our little plaques from Premier Sign Company. And they weren't that expensive. I can't remember how much they were. I'd have to go back and look at my records, but
And do you remember if, like, say it was a memorial plaque at a tree, was that decision to put the plaque on a tree made by the park board, by the town, by the individual donor?
well, the park board.
Okay.
They said, with that whole area right down there below the steps going down into Congdon Park, that was all for one of the Sigsby girls that passed away. There's a memorial bench down there, and then there's some trees and stuff that they purchased.
Okay, so the family of the
Mhm.
past
Mhm.
provided the funds and the
Mhm.
park board made the decisions about where and what went in.
Right.
Okay,
They may have had an idea where they wanted it to go in the first place.
Well, yeah.
okay.
There's 2 trees down in Commons Park and a park bench or swing, I think, that are memorials. Got little plaques on them, so.
Okay. All right, well then for next meeting, like I said, I'll try to get some information about possible costs and a more clear proposal on what type of memorial we could be looking at. I'll get some pictures of the park, Memorial Park, so we can kind of start to consider where and what we want to have go in there. I would say probably we'd want to, well, I don't know, wait on the poll until after next month when we have a better idea of what we're thinking, or,
Good.
because I don't want to put the poll out there and then we start looking at this and realize it's unfeasible for some reason and then
Yeah.
have to
okay.
back away, but,
You might have a better description to share in the poll as well.
Right.
The polling question.
right, okay. So I will I'll work on the list of questions for the poll, and if anybody else has input on that, please let me know. But that's something we'll probably do for after next meeting. Scott, since we have you, do you have any thoughts or input on that memorial that we were discussing? If we still have, oh,
Were you looking to make it, I don't know, kind of sign-like so it could be added to, or? I mean, what was your? Goal?
I think something that we can add to would be a good idea if there is interest in that in the future. And my initial thought is it kind of depends on what I see as far as pricing from the monument company. But I could see a 4-sided concrete pillar with a placard on each side. I could also see just a metal single, sign that's on a post, similar to some of the signage that's already out there. I think either one of those we could set up to be added to. But as far as what we I think the main decider is gonna be what kind of costs we're looking at when I contact the monument company.
Okay.
Did that answer your question, at least for now?
Yeah, for now, I just didn't know what our ultimate goal was to be. I mean, is it for, future use to continue to build upon, or, just simply past recognition? So that's what I was wondering.
Right, my initial thought is, we start it as it's just for past recognition, but with the possibility to add to if it is something that the community, seems to have an interest in.
Okay.
We did discuss a little bit, about seeking donations from businesses. And obviously, we need to put together a more, specific proposal before we start considering that. But it was mentioned, Scott, that you were kind of the specialist at, working with local businesses in town for,
He raises money, great.
I don't know if you just heard Rosemary say that you raise money great. So,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if,
Pretty well the last time, it's been a while, but we generated a letter that we sent out, I think, ahead of time. And then I did contacts afterwards and set up appointments, so we could look to do that again, yes, so.
okay, great. If that's something you'd be willing to collaborate with me on or spearhead, yourself,
Sure.
that would be appreciated. Okay, does anybody else have any questions or comments on the memorial proposal?
Just that there are some people that, I mean, like Chris Brown, she's not passed in the last 5 years, but she has done a tremendous amount of stuff for Bristol.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
She's
I
very,
would think, and I would think that we'd want to have her on there.
Yeah, and like I said, I think we
So,
could establish
we would
parameters,
just-
but be flexible.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no,
Um,
that's fine. That's just what I wanted to say, that there, I was just thinking of her, when somebody says that, because she did an awful lot for Bristol.
Yeah, yeah, and that's my thinking of what the purpose of this is
Mhm.
for, is,
Yeah.
trying to memorialize any people that have impacted our community. So, and I would say, say we've got a certain number of names that we feel would be costs, that we'd be able to cover the cost for. And say we put it out there and we don't get a number that fills that list, and I think it's something we could absolutely expand it to, say, somebody that lived just outside of town, but maybe they, were a teacher of, a great number of Bristol students,
Mhm.
or like you said here, Chris Brown, who maybe didn't pass within the last 5 years, but somebody who had a lot of impact on the community. That was my thinking anyway, but like I said, I'm absolutely open to input and suggestions, as we develop this idea. Okay, if we don't have anything else on that, moving forward, I put it on the agenda, but Mike, you said we might want to wait till next month when Jill is here, but do you want to give us any information about the proposed, farmer's market?
As I mentioned, we've had 400 positive responses to the poll, which indicates significant interest in the town. The challenge will be is finding somebody to actually manage the farmer's market. So that'll be the next challenge. I don't know, Jill and I may have a suggestion by next month. Obvious locations would be Condon Park, the area next to the community garden, Charles Street parking lot might be a location as well. We thought about the area on Main Street that's empty right now that we call Howard's Landing internally. But considering the construction projects going on there, that wouldn't be the best spot, I don't think. So while there's interest, there still needs to be somebody who's going to spearhead and maintain it, because Jill.
yeah, our last one, we had a church parking lot
Mhm.
that's away from the Catholic
Yep.
Church.
And that would be another good location too. across from Mancino's, there's an empty lot there that one of the, Robert Weed folks still own. That would be a location. We could utilize church parking lot for parking. So we have locations, but it's a matter of organization. It's a matter of finding the farmers that want to participate there. And
We did have a really nice one a few years ago, remember?
Oh, yeah, that was, oh, what was his name? Lived out on 120, but he did it for, oh, well, I think it was for a couple years.
You just have to find somebody who's interested and can do his job and
Yep.
keep at it.
And do you have any access to information about why the last one, is no longer going? I was
He
gonna say it didn't
passed.
work out, but.
he died.
Yeah.
That was the
That would do
individual
it.
running it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll start looking for that person and
Mhm.
somehow, somewhere.
Okay. Well, I would absolutely be interested in helping collaborate on that, both in my capacity as
Okay.
park board president, but also as. the
You can
community
just
garden
take it on
coordinator.
if you want.
Put it right
I
in there with
wouldn't be
that,
opposed to it. if
put it right over
we'd
there
like
with
to
the
dis-
garden.
we'd like to discuss that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's.
We're gonna have a big area over there still, because we don't know anything about what's going on over there.
So Jill's role is generating ideas that'll keep our downtown alive during this next year, because it's gonna be a tough year.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that she's good at generating these ideas, but she absolutely needs help and volunteers to implement them.
Yeah.
Because we had that conversation today, so she's going to be very, very busy this year, and this would be overtime for her. I told her I got a budget.
Yeah, no, I run into the same thing with the community garden. I've got plenty of ideas that I'd like to expand on, but it's tough finding the people to pull it off.
Yeah.
Um, but I would very much like to be, like to help out with that discussion in any way I can. So tell her to reach out to me.
Yeah, my guess is we'll report to the community the results of the poll and then ask if there's volunteers who would like to help organize that. So.
Did you ever put out anything telling how many groceries were actually given to the?
Yeah, there was an annual report.
That was out.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
I don't think I did a really fancy one like I did the first few years, but we did report numbers.
So, that Memorial Park. It's always in the back of my mind that we've been talking about possibility of not having that in there anymore. And moving it across the street. And I just don't know if we should be building something in it when we really don't know what we're doing with it.
Some people wanted to put a restaurant there, didn't they?
Yeah, right now the plan is to we're saving space for a pedestrian bridge. Although that might change location, but we don't have any money, so it's not a high priority discussion at this point. But the town does plan on, as soon as we clear the ownership issues of the land, between what we own and the river, then there'll be a request for proposals put out. Yeah, for that
Mm-hmm.
entire space plus the building that we own as well.
Yeah,
So it's not planned for a park.
okay.
There is a plan for a pedestrian bridge in a landing green space area there that may
Okay.
incorporate some outdoor seating for something. Yeah.
But no plans to move Memorial Park over to
No,
here and to
that's
use that for
not-
something else. Okay,
That's not been discussed by the council.
okay.
I was gonna say I hadn't heard anything about Memorial Park being changed from a park to something else.
At least we got that tree down, didn't we?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
the tree
gone.
is down. It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
And Linda, the memorials, I guess I'm thinking of they are things that if they did need to move, I feel like there are things that we could move if that were the
Okay.
case. But I hadn't heard anything about Memorial Park no longer being a park.
Except we got rid of the
News
tree.
to me. Yeah. Like, just, I guess, one other question about the farm market, Mike, and maybe this is, again, better to wait until next month, but, some farm markets are kind of just vegetables or produce, and then some are produce and crafts. Any idea on what the thought is with this one?
I don't think it's been that level of depth or anything.
Okay.
We had one in the church parking lot.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That
And
was-
did that one, was it just produce, or was it produce and crafts and,
It was, yeah, there was
Baked
some crafts.
goods,
yeah?
yeah, there was
Yeah.
crafts also involved.
As, I mean, if you open it up to that, you can definitely get more vendors in it. Or you can
Right,
bring
you
in more
had to have
people,
something else, yeah.
but it's certainly more coordination and more work, so just something to think about.
And Carol at the library might be interested in, because they've had vendors
Sponsoring it, yeah.
before,
Yeah,
sponsoring it or having something to do with it, or,
that's a great recommendation. If Jill hasn't spoken to her about that yet, Carol would be a good one
Okay.
to discuss with.
Okay.
Okey-doke.
And also the organization that supports our garden, Seed to Feed Elkhart, they probably have a lot of information, that could be helpful as well, so.
Mhm.
But I'll talk to Jill and
Okay,
we'll get that information to her. Thank her for working on it, because that sounds, like you said, a tough job keeping things going down here in the next couple of years, but we'll do what we can to support and make it happen. Okay, any other thoughts, questions, comments on the farm market? Okay. Business. One thing I forgot to get on the agenda would be for new business, and I can bring it up at the next meeting. It's just a request for the community garden. Wanting to plan really far ahead for that. And some of the specific things, Eric, I would want to talk to you about, getting mulch and soil. But we can talk about that at the next meeting if you can, kind of give an idea of if and how much and when you could have things delivered. But like I say, we don't need to know that right now.
Right.
Anybody else have anything for old business or new business?
well, I think we should think about, Kathy Antonelli's proposal.
Sure, the planting,
of
yeah.
The planting of flowers around certain areas.
Do we recall how we left
I
that with
think we
her?
could stop, I think it'd be great to start with Hermance Park, because we still don't know what all's going to go on with a walking bridge or whatever
You can have
you
it
know,
if you want.
for those steps. But we could do something on the corner of the Hermance Pavilion
Mhm.
that would make it look nicer. And we'll get a start. Maybe.
No, I was thinking the same thing, and I was thinking because I've already done some background work on the area for behind the pavilion, that I should talk to Kathy about that. So, would it be a good idea for me to get with her before our next meeting and see if she has any more concrete ideas, or?
Okay,
And so you're suggesting we would focus on around the corners of the pavilion? Is that right?
mhm.
You can get very wet there, so you have to think about that too.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I worked with a lot of master gardeners and they gave us specific suggestions on plants that would work well in that environment.
And, stones in there instead of bark that would float away.
Mhm. Yeah, and one thing, I think I said it when we were talking about it last time, is, stones are good for an area if we think it's gonna continue to be that. We don't wanna put stones in anywhere if it's gonna be, likely to need to be moved,
Mhm.
because taking stone out is
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. Maybe for a front end loader, it's a little bit easier, but I've tried that with a shovel before and it's no fun. But like you say, better than having mulch that floats away. So, all right, so I will contact Kathy Antonelli to discuss her proposal about doing some landscaping in our parks, and we'll focus on the Hermits Pavilion. Is that what you were suggesting, Linda?
I think we should start, yeah,
Mm-hmm, okay.
somewhere. And that would be a good place to start.
And I'll find out, she maybe has done some work on that and might have some more proposals for us. But I'll see if we can bring something on that to our next meeting in February.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Well, then that next meeting is Tuesday, February 3rd at 6 PM. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
And a second? Second. Austin seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.
See you next, Happy New Year.
Happy New
Okay,
Year,
Happy
everybody.
New
Yep, see you
Year.
next month.
All right, we'll see you.
Okay,
Thank you,
bye,
Eric.
Eric.
Thank you, Mike. Rosemary, did you get everything you need?
You never get everything.
I know, I ask you that every time when I get this.